We've just passed the halfway point of the season, and things are really starting to heat up. Coaches are getting fired, fan bases are getting restless, and through all of it, we're witnessing a team make NHL history. A lot happened in Week 15 of the NHL season, so let's cover everything in this video. With the Battle of Alberta at the forefront on Saturday, the Oilers made NHL history with a 3-1 victory over the Calgary Flames. That means they've won 13 in a row, and that's the longest streak of any Canadian team in NHL history. From starting off at 2-10-1 to now being 26-15-1 is just an insane turnaround for this team. The great part about this win is that McDavid and Draisaitl didn't record a point. It was the depth players of the Oilers getting the job done, with McLeod and Gagne stepping up at the right time. That's a sign of a really strong team, and right now, the Oilers are now 6 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights for the second spot in the Pacific Division with 4 games in hand. That's insanity when just 2 months ago, McDavid and Draisaitl were patting each other for comfort during one of the most frustrating times in the McDavid era. Sometimes, some early season adversity can create a monster later in the year. Saturday night was a busy night like usual with a couple of heated games. The Bruins welcomed the Canadiens, and they absolutely dominated them with a 9-4 win. Danton Heinen recorded his first NHL hat-trick, and there was the usual feistiness that takes place in a game between these two teams. However, Boston made easy work of them and picked up the 2 points. Now, the Bruins made some headlines this week as their goaltender Jeremy Swayman shared his opinion of the arbitration process that he went through in the summer. The guy is an all-star, and he has a shutout in 11.4% of his starts. After hearing about all the things he probably wasn't good at in the summer, he's made a statement this season, and that shutout stat is absolutely insane. He's got 14 wins on the season and 3 shutouts already, and he and Linus Ullmark continue to be a key ingredient to the Bruins' success. Boston isn't making history like they were last year, but they're still quietly going about their business as one of the best teams in the league. The Leafs had the Canucks on Saturday night, and this game was a wild one. The Canucks came out hot, scoring 3 in the first period, and the Leafs would roar right back, scoring 3 straight to tie it, but after getting in some penalty trouble in the third, the Canucks would pot 2 power play goals, and that would pretty much seal it. Demko was absolutely brilliant in this one, stopping 42 of 46 shots, and the Canucks reclaimed the top spot in the NHL. This game had its fair share of feistiness, with Tyler Myers basically taking on 2 guys at once, but you can see that the frustration is starting to seep in for everyone in this Leafs organization. This week was chaos for them like usual. They blew a lead against Colorado, Detroit, and Edmonton, and they would have done it again in Calgary if it wasn't for a coach's challenge to call back the tying goal. The Leafs are in one right now. The parade is canceled, and they do have a chance to redeem some things on Sunday against the Seattle Kraken, but their schedule isn't going to get any easier. If they continue to slide, I wonder how long they'll go before making a coaching change. Sheldon Keefe has been publicly challenging his stars, and the noise has just turned up to another level here as they've continued to struggle. If you want to understand more about why the Leafs seemingly can't defend, check out the breakdown we did on them a few days ago on the channel. We broke down the Leafs structure and why it's got them currently canceling all parade plans, but make sure to check out that one after this video. Some good news is that Connor Bedard was seen back on the ice only 10 days after breaking his jaw and having surgery on it. Can't teach that kind of passion, and if Herb Brooks was still around, he'd probably say that the jaw is a long way from the heart. Hopefully, he makes a full and quick recovery, because the league is much better when Connor Bedard is in it. Players have been getting ballsy recently, and it's making for some great storylines around the league. We obviously had the whole Cutter Gauthier saga last week, and this week we got Columbus goaltender Elvis Merzlinkins coming up big in a shootout win and then requesting a trade shortly after. Merzlinkins stopped 27 of 30 shots and came up huge against the Canucks in the shootout, and in a post-game interview afterwards, Merzlinkins stated that he was mad and he's pulling the monster out of him. A few moments later, he requested a trade. That's some Patrick Waugh type behavior without really any of the Patrick Waugh stats. The guy's got a 3.25 goals against with a .905 save percentage, and I do understand he's on the Blue Jackets, but those numbers don't exactly give him a lot of leverage. Speaking of a goaltender who's much closer to Patrick Waugh is Marc-Andre Fleury. This week, he surpassed Patrick Roy in all-time wins by recording a shutout over the Islanders. Great moment for a great goalie and a great guy, as he got a standing O from the Wild fans, and he's had one hell of a career. However, later in the week against the Panthers, he would get clipped by Lockwood here behind the net, and although he stayed in the game after that collision, he would eventually have to leave the game early and was announced to have an upper body injury. Lockwood would get a 3-game suspension for that hit on Fleury, which is questionable, I get it, but considering what other hits just haven't received a suspension, it just adds to the inconsistency of the NHL player safety, and really, no one knows what the standard is. Now, Patrick Roy was a popular guy this week, as he was officially hired to be the Islanders head coach, replacing Lane Lambert. The Islanders lost 4-3 to a Bedardless Blackhawks. That was their 4th loss in a row, and that's enough to make Old Man Lou say, screw it, we're firing Lane Lambert and bringing in Patrick Roy. Roy has had a reputation of being a tiny bit hot-headed, but I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to see him behind the bench. He can be a really nice fit for the Islanders, as Roy has had a lot of success coaching in the QMJHL, and he gets another crack with the Islanders here. They sit 2 points out of a playoff spot, and if they can find their form of being the pesky defensive juggernaut that they were a few years ago, then the Islanders could be a very, very dangerous team down the stretch. At this point, I feel like I say this every week, but I am just so impressed with the Philadelphia Flyers. They are fully in a rebuild year, but Torts has just got this team going through a wall for him. Owen Tippett had himself a week, scoring 2 ridiculous goals, and initially, he was a skilled player that many thought wouldn't necessarily thrive under a coach like John Tortorella. Now, unfortunately for the Flyers, on Saturday, they ran into the dog Nathan MacKinnon, and he continues his ridiculous MVP season. 2 goals propelled the Avs to a 7-4 win, but how about this move at the end of the game to slide it over to Logan O'Connor for the empty netter? O'Connor also had 2 goals in this game, and that empty netter gave him his first career hat trick. That is the ultimate team guy move from Nathan MacKinnon. Cam Lacar also became the 2nd fastest defenseman to 300 points, and between him and MacKinnon, the Avs are just still complete monsters. Watch Nikolai Ehlers here go end-to-end against the Senators and score this beautiful OT winner. Jets take it 2-1, and someone please, for the love of God, send help for Brady Tkachuk. Watch him lay a hit and then just accept the fact that he's just gonna drop them. It's tough being the captain of a struggling team, but Brady is still willing to give his absolute all. The Jets are 9-1 in their last 10, and they remain one of the best teams in the league, while the Sens are the complete opposite. Some news around this week saw Lightning GM Julien Brisebois clear the air about any trade rumors surrounding pending UFA and captain Steven Stamkos. He said he won't trade him, but he didn't say anything about re-signing him, which means that the Lightning would lose Stamkos for basically nothing. Jack Eichel's also out week to week following surgery, and that's slightly concerning for the Golden Knights, who have slowed down significantly since the beginning of the season. They are likely feeling the effects of a long Stanley Cup playoff run, but it's only going to get harder to get their game back to their standard when missing a player like Jack Eichel. Quick standings check. Canada is happy to see both Vancouver and Winnipeg on top of the NHL. All these teams are fantastic, but I still like Dallas as my sleeper. They spanked the Devils 6-2 on Saturday, and they've been silently steady all season long. With us just being a little over halfway through the season, I'm sadly starting to realize that my future 2024 Cup chance in the San Jose Sharks may not be able to turn it around here in time for the end of the season, as they still remain dead last in the league. Nathan MacKinnon has taken over the NHL scoring lead with 77 points, while Austin Matthews still sits first in goals with 37. So, what did you think of Week 15 and the season at the halfway point? Who surprised you this far? Who's disappointed you? Let us know your honest opinion in the comments down below. And if you want to see any of our deeper breakdowns from this past week, click on any of the videos here and subscribe to the channel.